begin with this breaking news. The Apple Developers Conference just finished up. The devotees and developers who fill its app store with their creations cheering CEO Tim Cook as he appeared before them at the tech giant's annual Worldwide Developers Conference. With a bucolic backdrop behind him, Cook kicked off the pre-recorded presentation by introducing top Apple execs with all the new goodies and offerings. So the tech titan announcing iOS 16, the latest operating software for iPhones, which promises, quote, the biggest update ever to your lock screen, completely imagining and reimagining how it works. But the mic drop moment came when Apple announced a solution to that oops, I hit send panic button moment. Listen.
And now we're adding 3 of the most highly requested features to messages. First, have you ever sent a message only to immediately realize you didn't quite say what you intended? Well, no worries, because now you can edit any message you just sent, so embarrassing typos can be a thing of the past. Second, have you ever wished you'd never sent that message at all? Well, good news, now you have undo send, so you can immediately recall a recent misfire.
Oh, that never happened to me. All right, with a nod to Americans' fitness fanaticism, Apple announced also the software latest update for its watch, including the long-awaited sleep tracking features so users can see how long they're in each stage of sleep. Now, the software update also includes key features to improve runners' performance. And for the hardware lovers, Apple just announced the new MacBook Air that will run on its new M2 processors, those chips that replace Intel. The MacBook Air comes in 4 colors: space gray, starlight, midnight, and silver. It's going to cost $1,199 per piece of equipment. All right, joining me now to discuss it all and what it might mean for the stock itself is Kevin Kelly, Intelligence CEO of Kelly and personal Apple shareholder, and a Starship Capital managing partner, John Meyer, who was the one who developed 40 apps in the early days of the App Store, including the first flashlight app. Let me get to you, Kevin. What was game-changing here that you saw? Because what we didn't get was equally as newsworthy, and that is the VR headset that everybody had kind of hoped they would see.
Yeah, we were hoping that they would make that announcement, but we're not surprised they actually didn't do that. And that's because gaming is such a big part of Apple and all the money they generate. I mean, just last year alone, it was anticipated and estimated that it was over $15 billion in gaming revenue that they generated, and that was number 3, only behind Tencent and Sony. I mean, they actually bested Microsoft, and so gaming is past, present, and future for our friends at Apple. And so an AR VR headset is going to be key for them. It'll eventually come out because that's where gaming is going. So we should see that in the future. But the big thing that came out today that I think is being really underestimated by, the overall stock market for Apple itself is the buy now, pay later. I mean, if you look at Affirm, which is one of the leading companies in buy now, pay later, they're down about 4 to 5% today off that news, where people can go out and buy something using Apple Pay and pay it off in 4 equal installments. So I think that's one of the bigs that came out today as well, just for fintech stocks.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, and you can compare it to the other fintech names that clearly are getting kind of dinged on that news. It's almost as if, John, every time Apple puts something out there, it's not just to evolutionize or, evolve what's already out there. It is to revolutionize an entire industry. And as we talk about those kinds of things, what jumped out at you as sort of the most game-changing thing? And again, it's sort of squishy because a lot of it is software, but tell me what you thought.
Well, it's a great question. I think the resounding conclusion I had after watching this conference is that other than the buy now, pay later, which is maybe somewhat game-changing, there's definitely competition out there for that. What I thought was really interesting was zero mention of augmented reality and virtual reality. I think this WWDC this year in 2022 marks the beginning of the end of iOS and iPadOS being the center of this conference every year, and the beginning of the end, because next year begins the explosion of AR for Apple. It's all going to be about that next year and beyond at this developer conference. And I think right now is really a period of a calm before the storm of the biggest war ever between two tech titans, and that's Apple and Meta in the AR race over the next decade.
Yeah, Apple and Meta, and sort of shorter term, and it's not even a race anymore, Apple and Intel. I was watching Intel shares very closely because of the M2 chip, which of course Apple finally said, what are we using other people's chips for? We make our own things. They rarely acquire companies to add on to what they do, and instead they try and create their own kind of imprimatur on every piece of design there. But let me get back to Kevin here. We were talking about Apple's intention, and when they bring something out, it's really only noticed later that the intention is not to put out a new product, but more after the mass adoption, revolutionizing an entire industry. I always think of the iPod, which completely changed the music industry. And then, you think about the iMac, which ended up dropping the floppy disk drive, and now all Macs, they do not have a USB port. They got rid of all the ports. Anything here today, and I'm kind of trying to generate a little ruach here to see if there's any excitement about stuff that was really game-changing.
Yeah, I mean, I think you brought up one of the best points in that they're actually bringing their entire supply chain in-house, and one of the reasons why Intel is down is actually Intel closed their 5G chips that they were going to compete against Qualcomm on. They shut down that entire team and system, and they were doing it for 10 years, and Apple bought that entire team and all the IP and everything that goes behind it. So you will actually see one day where your iPhone won't actually have a Snapdragon chip from Qualcomm in there to talk to the internet. So that's pretty interesting in how they're actually so enclosed, but they want to play well with others, right? I mean, when we talked about the gaming before, all that revenue was generated not because they make their own games, it's because of the App Store. And you were talking about revolutionizing products. I mean, just think about that. BlackBerry was before the iPhone. Same with Palm Pilots even. So what's interesting is that they're taking over fitness now too, and they're going to have on-device fitness tracking for iOS, so you don't need to buy a watch over into the health space and fitness space for their iOSs. I think that's actually understated today as well.
John, so much was made right off the top about this lock screen and the changes where you can actually do more customization. I mean, I already thought you could customize quite a bit of it. They came up with a bunch of different customization opportunities. There's a new wallpaper gallery. You can audition different fonts. Listen to how they describe the new changes.
Now, if I just press and hold, I can personalize it further. I'll just tap Customize, and now I'm in the editor. Now check this out. I can simply swipe to try out different styles that automatically change the color filter, the background, and the font for the time, all to complement each other.
Okay, that's all very nice. And by the way, when you talk about the bring back that email that I didn't mean to send or the text message, Google and Gmail already allow you to do that. So I'm looking for fresher things. And then the big question becomes, John, did anything you heard today make Apple's ecosystem stickier, meaning you really are completely disinclined to even try and add different accessories from different companies, whether it be Samsung or something else?
Absolutely. Apple is going in and adding deeper functionality to iMessage, one of the most sticky platforms on iOS. This is something that especially is widely used by this new Gen Z audience. And if you're not using iMessage and you're sending someone a text with a green bubble, you're all of a sudden not as cool. That is as sticky as it gets to young people, especially using iPhones. And now that they're building in more capabilities into iMessage to keep you in there and keep you glued, I think that's great for the whole ecosystem, as any stockholder of Apple might say. And then I would also add and really note that Apple has spent the last decade waiting for when they can add customization to the home screen until they can do it in a way where it really wouldn't impact battery life, as it has done with Android over this last decade. So that's really, Apple's just waited for the perfect time. They've done it, and now it's here.
Okay, and you know what else is here? A completely flat stock, no reaction at the moment for Apple, and the Dow has turned negative, down about 30 points. Kevin Kelly, John Meyer, thank you for sifting through all of this, and as we say, scraping the apple barrel for anything that might really be revolutionary here.